Well, good morning. What is everybody doing out there today on this wonderful Friday? Happy Friday to you today. What's going on? What are you up to this morning? I wonder what you're doing today in Eastern North Carolina. It's bright and sunny outside, and as I told my son this morning, I have miles to go before I sleep. Let me turn a little bit of light on here. It looks like it might be a little bit dark. Maybe. Sorry about that. Penny is being ridiculous. Who knows what's out there? Anyway, so sorry for that loudness this morning. It's just part of my day. Anyway, maybe there's a squirrel making noise out there or something. Who knows? Anyway, so I have, as I told my son this morning, I'm kind of all over the place. I have miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep. There's a poem out there. It's one of my favorite by Robert Frost, I believe it is. And if you've never heard that poem or read it, you should look it up. It's very famous, and it's a good one. Anyway, so today, what is at home with Rhonda? What am I up to today? The first thing that I am going to do is my sweet stepmother-in-law gifted me. They are in the process of moving, and so she's kind of downsizing and going through some stuff. And we had gotten to talking one day about just different cooking appliances and things. And so I have this great big, I'm sure you probably have one too, this great big roasting pan, which is fabulous. You know, if you are going to be feeding the masses, you're going to have, you know, a bunch of people over for Christmas or Thanksgiving or some kind of summer party. It's great because you can put water at the bottom between the bottom of the pan and the unit. And you can put ham, turkey, beef, you know, roast, whatever in there. And you can put like a ton, like a great big turkey in there. The problem is, you know, right now we're empty nesters. So normally for dinner, it's just my husband and I. And so I was telling my stepmother-in-law the other day, my bonus mom, I told her, I was like, you know, it'd be nice to be able to have one that's just kind of a compact one, right? Well, she has every kind of gadget that you can imagine. And so she actually gifted me with this small little appliance. I'm so excited. So I've dusted it off. I've washed everything, and it inspired me that today, for dinner tonight, we are going to have a venison roast. So I thought maybe I would do a little video on that. But what's just great is, I mean, look at that. It's the same thing as my roasting pan, but it's just, you know, it's perfect. It's perfect for, like, you know, the two of us or a family of 4 or 6, you know, just for a normal size roast. So this morning I went out to my freezer and I took out this wonderful, I don't know if you can see it or not, but took out this wonderful frozen hunk of meat. And I've been thawing it out to a certain point because, you know, I don't want to put it in there frozen. I probably could, but I am going to let it thaw out for just a little bit more. And then let's see what time it is. Maybe at about 11 o'clock, I'll put it on and I'll just, you know, let it cook for the rest of the day. And I'm going to use like a Lipton onion soup mix to put over the top of it. I have some canned beef broth or bone broth that I've made that I have in my pantry. Either beef, actually I have venison stock, so that's probably what. Maybe I'll use a combination of both. Anyway, when I get ready to put all of that together, I'll come back and take care of that. But anyway, I just wanted to say good morning to you, and I hope you're having a good day today. I know most of us have been watching the news, and there's a bunch of stuff going on that, you know, we can be afraid of, but I just want to encourage you that we are just put our faith and our trust in the Lord today. So whether you're on your way to work, or if you're on your way to take the kids to not school, I think school is out by now, but if you're on your way to take them to daycare, or if you're going to have a play day with your kids, or whatever your day finds you doing today, I pray that you will just realize that God is with you and He is for you. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday, but be encouraged. Just whatever you find your hands doing today, do it all for the glory of God. And let God worry about the big things, okay? The things that's happening in the government, the political stuff that's happening out there. God's never called you to be able to just worry and fret about those things. He's the one that is over it all. He created it all. He created where we live, and He created it, everything. So just trust Him. Just focus on, what you need to do today to be a blessing to your family and to the community around you, those people that you bump shoulders with. You never know what they're going through. So I would say ask the Lord, take some time to pray today and ask Him how you can be a blessing to other people. And so I'm going to hang up now, but I'll come back in just a bit at about 11 o'clock. So in about 45 minutes, I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to put my venison together, my venison roast. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to chop up some potatoes and some carrots and onions and whatever else that I can dig out of the refrigerator to put that together. And then it's, the wonderful thing about that, it's a one pot meal, right? I can put it in here and put it on slow, cook it low and slow, and then I can go about my busy day today. I have to make some habanero spray stuff because I've got some corn growing out there that I'm afraid the critters are going to come out and just take it from me. I also need to spray down. I've got some kind of bug that's trying to attack my roses and some of my plants, so I've got to get a product that I use. My mother recommended malathion, I think it's called. I hate having to use it, but with some stuff you just have to go for the hard stuff. I want to get rid of it so it doesn't ruin my flowers and everything that I've worked so hard for. But anyway, so I've got to do that today. I need to put some what I call egg wash. I do what's called an egg wash, and I put it at the root base of my tomatoes. And that'll be another video that I'll share with you, but it's a combination of eggshells that have been ground into powder, vinegar and water, and you put that at the base of your tomatoes, and it keeps your tomatoes from having what we call bottom rot. And so maybe when I get ready to do that today, I'll make another video to share with you. And I have been so successful with that formula. But yeah, I've got tomatoes and blossoms on my tomato plants. So I've got to do that today. And it's going to be a hot one. So maybe in between I'll jump in the pool and cool off. But I'll be back in just a little bit. You have a great day, and I'll be back in just a little bit. Take care. Bye. Hey, so I am getting ready to rock and roll with this venison roast right now. So just wanted to sign back on and let you know what I'm getting ready to do. So the first step that I have to do, I've already washed my venison roast, but let's see here. The first thing I need to do, let me take you over here, is we need to, after washing your roast, and I'm sure this is the case with any roast, whether it's venison, pork, beef, whatever you're working with, if you, before you get started, you want to take some paper towels. Let me turn it down here. And you just want to pat it really dry, okay? That is the first thing that we're going to do. Get this side all nice and dry. Move some of this moisture at the bottom here, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to dry the underside with that. So there we go. Just take you, like I said, get you a couple of paper towels and get it nice and dry. I'll discard that, and I can't wait. Alrighty, so let me grab the phone here. Turn you back over here, and we're going to sear all the sides of this roast, and it just gets it nice and brown. So we're going to use a little bit of olive oil. That's my favorite and go-to. Going to just drizzle just enough olive oil to do this, and turn my skillet on high, and we are almost ready to go. Here, one second, let me grab a plate. 1 second. So we're going to heat that up real quick, and we're going to take the roast, and the place that we actually get our venison processed, they do such a great job when they process the deer. And so this roast, if you can see, they've got it nicely tied with some twine there. It kind of helps to keep it all together. And one of the reasons why we want to sear it first is when you do that, you are searing in all the juices. You're going to close in all those juices inside. So as it's cooking, searing it on all the sides is going to help keep all the juices from coming out. So we want it to be moist. We're going to cook it low and slow. And so we're going to do this. I'm going to turn you down here so you can kind of watch. Here we go. So we're just going to put that there and crank it up on high. There we go. Let's see what we're doing. Apparently it is not quite hot enough yet. It will start here in a minute. I am going to sign off just 1 minute. As soon as my pot gets hot enough, I'll be right back. Okay, I think we are here. So we've got some sizzling going on right now. I'm going to turn the phone down just a bit. You can see that. Let's see here. Okay. And also, I'm going to take a minute, I'm going to take some more of the olive oil, and I'm just going to drizzle it on the top like this. And I know some of you would probably use gloves. I'm not a glove person. My hands are clean. I have washed them multiple times. Oh, we got a lot of silver. We are going to do that. And I need something to turn it with here. I'm going to sizzle that. Just kind of keep it moving. You don't want it to get burnt. And we're just going to rotate it like that. And what you're looking for is like that nice brown color, okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to rock it back and forth. We want all sides. You need to get some kind of a fork here. If it's a little warm, you just want it, we want it to sizzle, we want it to brown like that right there. That's just going to give you such good flavor. I'm going to do that. And of course, you know, you are going to have some of the juices from the outside that's going to be added. I can already smell that aroma. And then we're going to take a moment. I know my hands are making me nervous. And we're going to sear the ends. We're just going to sear that really good in that olive oil. And like, you know, I started out on high because I needed to get my pan really hot, but then I had to turn it down because you don't want it to burn. That is what we don't want to do. So we're just going to sear all 4 sides. We're almost done here. And I just realized this is the first time that I've done any kind of cooking. Cooking is one of my other loves in life. I love gardening, so probably a big portion of my videos, maybe except for in the winter, is going to be, okay, now we're going to hold that up like that. Most of them probably will be about gardening or household projects, but I also love cooking. I'm from the South, so that's what I know. I'm one of those where it's hard for me to tell you how to make something because I just put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and whatever smells good, whatever looks good is kind of what I do. I think we're going to call this done right now. I'm wash my hands real quick. Okay. And then we are going to take this. I have to take you over here first. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. You know, when you're cooking, sometimes you just have to kind of go off camera and do what you got to do. So that's what happened. Over here, I have already peeled some onions, some potatoes, and I had, I don't know if you guys know what a rutabaga is, but I had some rutabaga, so I chopped up a little bit of that. Unfortunately, my husband does not care for rutabagas, so I will be eating all of those by myself. So I've got carrots, potatoes, some onions, and some rutabaga, and I'm also going to put some sweet potatoes that were from my garden a couple of years ago, and I have processed. Part of them I put in the freezer, and so for meals like this, I will use my frozen sweet potatoes, and they turn out just great. So I've got my little roasting pan. We talked about that earlier. I love it. I can't wait. It's already preheated, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of my washed, peeled vegetables to the bottom. That's the first thing I will do. We're going to put all of those, we're going to layer those at the bottom, just like that. I want to kind of shake some of the water off, like that. Let's see here. Almost done with that. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I also have some string beans. Now, because my string beans I have not harvested yet for this season, I have some fresh green beans from Food Line, and I'm just going to put a few of those on there because, you know, everybody loves fresh green beans, right? And this is your roast. This is your stew. So you can put in here whatever you want to. If you don't want rutabagas in your venison stew, that's perfectly fine. But I'm going to put a few of that, and I have to really, you know what? I've got this right here, but I'm taking it out because I need a little bit more room, believe it or not. There we go. That'll work better. Okay, we got that. The next thing that I'm going to do is I have some venison bone broth that I made. It's labeled for it's actually November 2020 that I made that. So perfectly fresh. I'm going to pop open that jar. And you can see, which is pretty amazing, there's only a little bit of fat in there. And that's the joy about eating venison. It's so much healthier for you. The fat content is way lower than what beef or pork would be. So we're going to pour this right on top of my vegetables, like that. And then I have another canned jar. This was December of 2023, and it's beef vegetable broth. So I made that. I've already washed the jar down. I've washed the lid down, and we're gonna pop that off, and we're gonna put half. We're gonna put about half of that in there. Okay. So the next thing that we're gonna do, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going a little too fast. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to season the meat. Now, when you are working with venison, it is very important that you season your meat. Sometimes, depending on the cut of meat and whether or not when that deer, when the hunter had, killed that deer, it may have like ran, and which makes the meat not as good and not as tender. My husband is a wonderful, he has really perfected his skill in hunting, so he knows how to humanely be able to kill a deer so that it doesn't suffer and that it drops as soon as he shoots it. And that's what you want. You want a deer that has not ran, that's going to give you the best tasting meat as possible. But if you've got a piece of venison that may have a little bit of a gamey taste, and this could go with rabbit, any kind of wild game. You want to make sure that you season it. So what I have done is I have sprinkled some barbecue. It's called Stubbs barbecue rub with sea salt, and it has garlic and paprika. And so these are some free advertisements. Some chopped chives. I've got salt and pepper. I also make my own what we call brisket cowboy rub. And if you want that recipe, I can send it to you. You just have to send me a message with that, but it's wonderful. So of course I save my own containers, and so we make this because every time my husband smokes a brisket, we use about a half a container of this. So I put some of that, maybe about, I don't know, 3 tablespoons, something like that. Again, I don't measure a whole lot. I do a little sprinkle, see how it goes. I also put some minced garlic in here, salt and pepper. And what I've done is I've just made kind of like this paste, and I'm going to spread it out on this plate here. And then I'm going to take my venison, which is cooling right now, and I'm going to just kind of roll that venison in with this seasoning. So let me grab it. Here we go. So I am going to, let me put it down here so you can see. I am going to take this part. Let's see, which part do we want to do? All right, we want to start with this part. So this would be the bottom. So we're going to start with putting the seasonings on the top. And all I'm going to do is just roll it around, just like that. We want to just rub those spices all over there. You want to just kind of rub that spice in the meat there, all over. Get it all in the little cracks and crevices. And you want to use it all. Like I said, I had chopped chives, and maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of each thing. The Stubbs barbecue sea salt rub, I used maybe a couple tablespoons of that. And we're just going to season that. And then when it starts to cook low and slow, this is what you're going to smell. I'm going to grab some of this, and I'm just going to put it inside. There, we want all of those. Excuse my hands. Again, like I said, I feel like the good Lord gave me hands, and I'm going to use them. So we're just going to rub that all over there. Okay, and try to use up every single bit of that good stuff. Okay, until you get the whole thing kind of covered. And if you wanted to, you could actually take, I didn't have time for this today, but what would be even better is if you took your roast and did all of this and let it kind of marinate in the refrigerator overnight. I wish I had thought about that, but anyway, I think it's ready. So I'm just going to put that right there. And I'm not going to let it, you know, be completely submerged with, let me wash my hands. I'm not going to let it be completely submerged in the water, so I don't even know if I need to add some more of this just to the outside. You just want the vegetables to kind of be covered. So right now I have this heated up to 150 because I just wanted to get the, you know, the what do you call it, the container. I wanted to get that all heated up. And and one thing that I forgot to do, y'all, this was a big one. I haven't used this type of pot in a while, but what makes this pot so nice is that you put hot water. I boiled some water over here, and what you want to do is you want to be able to put a layer of hot water in here. And what that does is it keeps your food from scorching. So let's put that back. I should have done that first, but I forgot. So, you know, sometimes that happens. And I'm going to put this in a secure place. And I'm going to set it to where it will cook probably on about 375, 400. I need to cook it, like I said, low and slow. So, I mean, you know, it depends on what, I've got about 4 or 6 hours. So I can't cook it as low, like, you know, 200. If I was going to cook it for 10 hours, then I would probably cook it on, say, 250, 275. But I've only got, it's almost 12 o'clock right now, so I need to cook it in about 6 hours. So I'm going to put it on about 375 and just let it cook for the rest of the afternoon. And then I will be back and I will show you what it looks like. So have a great one, and we'll talk to you in just a bit. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hey y'all, it is finished, and it's only 5, it's about 5 after 5 o'clock. So anyway, I want to show you what it looks like. But before I do that, I just kind of want to recap what I did with my little roasting pan. I started out high, got it really good and hot, and for about an hour I cooked it on about 400, and then about an hour later I turned it down to about 300, and about an hour later I turned it down to about 200, and then I just kind of let it stay around 175 for the rest of the day, and it looks amazing. I'm gonna turn my phone around so you can see. Look at that. Does that not look amazing? Venison roast with vegetables, y'all. So I'm going to sign off for now. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. And before I sign off, I want to introduce you to my handsome husband. This is Dwight.
Hello.
Here he is. He's ready for dinner. So, all right, guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Bye.